And welcome back on a very cold Tuesday morning, 28 degrees, but it is going to warm up today. So anything you need to do outside, you better get to doing it today because we're going to have temperatures around 48 to 50 degrees, plenty of sunshine, but freezing temperatures or below freezing temperatures, should say, definitely on the way. So wrap those pipes if you can. High temperatures tomorrow of 30, your low of 11. Look at the rest of the week. Yeah, really, that Thursday morning is the worst of it, and then it slowly starts to inch on up. Look at that, 23s and 32s. It is cold.
That's cold.
This is Alabama.
Dan Totten with his law firm of Dan Totten over on Jefferson Street. Before we get started on Dan talking about divorces and criminal defense and everything like that, let's talk about what happened in Limestone County over the last couple of days. Someone up in Elkmont, racial slur on a lady's garage door that's getting all kind of publicity.
Graffiti.
What kind of trouble could this person be in?
A lot of trouble.
Should be.
The FBI is working the case, so.
Is that considered a hate crime?
I'm
Should
sure
be.
it's a hate crime.
I mean, I just don't get it.
2015.
Yeah, this is 2015, not 1955.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
It's
it takes
awful.
some sort of, so that could definitely be a hate crime.
Absolutely.
I would imagine it would be, yeah.
You represent
Without a
people like
doubt.
that, if you have
I'm
to.
not going to represent whoever did that. They
So
don't-
you would turn somebody down?
Oh, absolutely.
Has that happened much, turning somebody down?
No, but I don't remember anybody doing anything that stupid before.
That's pretty bad.
So you would consider that one of the stupidest things locally you've seen?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, don't forget Sheriff Blakey is sworn in today at 1 o'clock in
For no
Judge
point.
Anderson's office for his, how many terms is this, 8?
This would be number 9.
9. And the next one will be 10th. That's his goal, is to get 10. Weren't you with him in his first campaign?
I was.
You his unofficial campaign chairman, aren't you?
I was.
All those good stories we've
Yeah,
heard.
y'all go back a long way.
Yeah, he stopped me. I was coming from the old jail back to my office, which was only about a half a block away. And he stopped me in his state trooper car, had me get in. He says, I'm going to run for sheriff. And I said, well, that's good. That's what you need to do. And he said, I want you to run my campaign. And I said, well, I don't know why. He says, well, I want a lawyer involved, and you're the lawyer that I want involved. And actually, his campaign chairman, up until he died, was Pete Watkins. Now Pete's son, T-Bird.
Okay. Now, were y'all friends before, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had been real close friends with my brother, Mike.
Okay.
Mike used to ride with him when he was a trooper, and I did too.
But that was exciting.
Oh, my goodness.
That's when I first met Mike, too, when he was a trooper.
Pretty exciting, but not as exciting as riding with Don Mansell was.
Well,
I've never done that one. I
never
won't get in
ridden
the
with
car
Don,
with
but
Sheriff
were
again.
you in the front or back seat?
Front seat. I didn't ride in the back seat for 20 years later.
Hey, first time, when we were doing the show in Florence, we came out, Mike used to do a piece,
yeah.
law something we did. We did interview
Law
Mike. He
talk, law
said,
talk.
Come to jail one day, he said, y'all get in.
Never
I usually
again.
drive 100% of the time. Y'all get in, we go run there. This guy, Jimmy Gill's cooking out at some ribs out at
Tool shed.
The tool shed. That's the second time I ever rode the Blakey. First and last. You know what it's like. All right.
Scare you to death.
Personal
We have 2
injury.
speeds,
High and higher.
full out and full stop.
Spitting, talking.
I'm like, Sheriff, quit looking at me. Watch the road.
Hey, slow down. My fingernails are just. But anyway, all right. Y'all do a lot of personal injury, and that's what people
No, yeah.
associate you with mainly.
Most of the time I do criminal
Right.
practice, but I've always done divorces.
I don't know why I'm on personal injury today.
Well, it's very difficult to engage in any type of practice of law in a small town like Athens, Alabama, without doing some of everything. But I do what I want to do now because I'm so old, been at it so long, so I do divorces and criminal cases, which are a lot alike.
All right.
Oh,
Talk
very
about
true.
divorces. Now, it's as research indicates here that this time of year is when the majority of divorces happen. Why is that?
Well, they better wait till after tomorrow night to say that, because tomorrow night it's going to be cold enough that people ought to be able to
Should
work
be
a lot of their marital
snuggling.
problems out.
Right. Should
But
be
the
snuggling.
holidays is when feelings and emotions run high is when the divorce rate is so high. As I had said last time I was here, people stay at home together during the month of December, and more than they do any other time of the year, and I don't think it goes very well with them sometimes.
Does finances have anything to do with that this time of year?
Finances has something to do with everything.
Every month.
So if a couple out there is watching today, or one or the other, and they are contemplating a separation, what's the first thing they need to do with somebody like you?
Well, with me, they need to have determined that's what they want to do by consulting with their friends and with people who know about them and know about their situation. A lawyer is not a person that you come to for marital counsel. A lawyer is who you come to perform a function once you've made the determination that you're going to end your relationship. And you mentioned a legal separation. We now have and have had for some years now, a legal separation law, which is in all respects exactly like a divorce, except it doesn't sever the bonds of matrimony.
Really?
You can't remarry. That's right.
Okay.
Can you date?
Well, you do that whether you divorce.
That long married.
In this day and time, Dan, how much
That's
is
most of the divorces.
how much is these devices coming into text messaging, email, and stuff like that?
It's coming in enough to where the State Bar Association has sent us out invitations to continuing legal education programs to learn about how to deal with cell phones and what's going on with it and the technology that's involved. So it plays a big part now.
How far back can, you may not want to answer this, but how far back can an attorney go on someone's phone records to actually get that message and read it and see it?
Well,
Each service company is different.
you can go as far back as you want to. The question is one of relevance, not one of whether or not you can talk about it in court. You can talk about it, but a judge may say, what the dickens are we talking about this for? This happened in the dark ages.
Does the judge, when they're up there, because I know I've been in court several times,
No. Hush
how
the
much,
crowd.
and the attorney's always bringing stuff up. How much does the judge really want to hear?
Well, in all truthfulness, they don't want to hear a whole lot, and you're a lot better off working your case out as best you can before you get to a judge, because you're going to try to acquaint him in 2 or 3 hours, or maybe at the most 2 or 3 days, with what you've lived your entire life, and he doesn't have time to assimilate it.
So is that where mediation's coming in more
Absolutely.
and more?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you recommend mediation?
Oh, sure I do. I've taken part in many of them and never had one where the case did not, well, I take that back. I had one where it didn't settle the case, but every other case I've ever had that mediated settled.
Wow, I would think that
What is
there's
I know
longer.
the backlog in Huntsville and getting divorced is like a year and a half.
It's longer
and
than
Billy
that.
Bell's court over there are longer.
2.5
What
years.
is it in Limestone County?
It's not that long here if you're serious about getting it. I had a case, just without naming names, I had a good friend that died yesterday morning. I filed his divorce case in April, and we hadn't finished it yet. A great guy, too. But so they last a while, and it's something. But if you want to get to court, our judges set it right on. They're very prompt, and they'll handle your case if you're ready. If they don't get disposed of, it's normally either the lawyer or the client's fault, not the judge's fault.
What's the worst thing that can happen to people getting divorced once it gets in court?
Not listening to their
I know
attorney?
what on my hot part was.
Well, the worst thing that can happen is to have a judge that doesn't understand the testimony that you're giving.
Golly, that's my problem. That's what I tell Judge Williams. What was his name? Williams? Yeah. But
I'm not
he's
talking to
retired
you.
now. So. He just didn't hear my side. He
I
liked
got
it.
a
He
book.
laughed, thought it was funny.
He
But
thought
every
you were a
time I told it, I
comedian.
got 5 days in jail and $5,000.
Really?
Contempt.
When I got through, it was 20 days in jail for contempt and about 20 grand.
But he had to watch the
That
show
about-
and he laughed the whole time the judge was laughing. He said, "That's funny, Mr. Cooper." But, you know.
Let's see it again.
Did you have to serve the time?
No,
No.
gosh, no, never.
Not to say I haven't been incarcerated before, but
We don't want to talk about that either.
so
No, it don't
divorce.
matter. It was okay.
Now, if somebody comes to talk to you, that means the other person can't come and see you, right?
That's right.
Is there a flat fee for divorce, or is that something that's negotiated, or how does that work?
No, divorce is an hourly
Okay.
situation where normally you charge a retainer. It's paid into your trust account. And then you, as the lawyer, bill against your own trust account and supply your client with the billing. And that way, when your client asks you, how much is this divorce going to cost? You can look them in the eye and say truthfully, whatever you want it to cost.
How much do attorneys not want to get those constant phone calls that maybe I think it's important, but it's really just nagging and picking moments?
Well, when you do what I just described and you put a retainer in your trust account and you make it clear to your client that, you know, if you want to call, call.
It's going to cost.
But it's going to cost you.
But I know how the people want to know immediately.
Oh, yeah.
What's this mean? What's the judge going to do? They don't, you know.
I'm mad and want an answer now, yeah.
Child custody, how big an issue is that these days?
Oh, it's bigger than it's ever been because of the equalization of women's rights and men's rights. That's one of the outgrowths of women's liberation that kind of worked the other way. Used to be a pretty settled fact that a lady was going to be entitled to custody of children. Not so anymore. It's more of a level playing field than it ever has been.
So bottom line, what advice you got for somebody right now, first of the year, and they're saying, hey, we need to separate or whatever, what do they need to do?
Well, if they've made up their mind, they need to go and consult a lawyer. And so that they can be adequately advised on what the law is and how it applies to their particular situation.
And the best person to see for that is Dan C. Totten Law Firm there on Jefferson Street.
Well, I'm not allowed to say that.
I can, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
There you go.
And there's Lucas, too. You give them both the
232-1287.
Lucases down at Disney World, I'm guessing.
Disney World with his
Disney
wife and
World.
children.
Well, anyway, roll tide.
Thank you.
Roll tide. We'll take a break, be right back. Y'all hang on.